TJ Wilson, aka Tyson Kidd, was on Chris Van Vliet this week, his podcast called Insight, talking about where he was and how he heard of the death of Owen Hart. Check it out.
We were, laughing about Owen's promo, and then when the camera's on Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, it took a second to register. Then it was like, Jim Ross is explaining that something happened to Owen, and I just remember then, I guess kind of like everybody else, we're not sure is this an angle? Is this a part of the show? Is this what's happening here? And then in my mind, man, in my memory, it just then kind of mayhem kind of ensues of whoa, what's going on here? Then Davey found out that Owen fell, but we weren't sure the result yet. And then I think we all stopped and then just head down to Stu's. From there, we get word about Owen passing away, and now almost everyone's at Stu's. It's just by the minute more cars are pulling up, and then I can remember Vince. He does a press conference or something that day.
Yeah, that night. Yeah.
And I think he called Stu's either right before or right after that press conference. I don't know which one. And I remember the phone being passed around. I remember Bruce, kind of Bruce Hart ripping into him, and Vince. I obviously can't hear Vince on the other side, but I just know Vince took it, and Stu was talking to him. I think maybe a few others talked to Vince on the phone that night. Yeah, man, it was. I remember Stu. I can remember Stu saying Stu said something, and I don't know if it was the promoter in him, but Stu said something he said something to the effect of man, I would to Vince, I almost he felt bad for Vince. He said I feel bad for you. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes right now. And that's just how Stu was. Just the way he handled things, man. Stu is so stoic.
I can't imagine being the Hart family and watching this on pay-per-view live, right? What on earth would you be thinking? Obviously, Tyson said, we thought it was a work at first. We didn't know if it was part of the storyline or what was going on. I just can't imagine what would be going through the family's head at that time. You're watching a pay-per-view, you're watching your brother or your uncle or whatever the fuck, and he's cutting this goofy promo and he's just being a character, and you're laughing about it 1 minute and the next minute he's gone, man. And hearing how Stu took it and how Stu handled it, and everybody chewing out Vince and Stu just keeping it calm and stoic, as Tyson said. Man, just what a tragedy to happen to a family. And I think it changed the dynamic of the Hart family forever. Certainly changed the dynamic of the Hart family in WWE. Everybody wanted to get out, go somewhere else. Everybody was mad. Just what a fuck fest and a big old mess. And, it was years and years ago. So I think we're all past it now, but it's interesting to hear that story from Tyson's perspective and from the Hart family perspective. You can catch Chris Van Vliet multiple times a week with his podcast Insight, everywhere podcasts are found. You can also see clips and full interviews on his YouTube page. Just search it up. You'll find it.